Hey dreamer, please.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be checking out Amelia in Arena, and this is pretty much a surprise, right? Amelia has been remade before, so her passive is a 20% chance to evade all attacks. Beyond he actually has 40%, so Amelia has lesser. And Amelia also decreases counter rate of all enemies by 20%, so be sure to keep a lookout for the enemy's counter later. She also increases her own status effect resist rate by 20%, which is very good in the current meta where there's so many types of resistance, so hopefully this 20% can come in your favor. Now for her skill 1, she deals 300% magic damage to 4 enemies and stuns them for 2 turns. So this stun is not as good as other stuns that other heroes have because it's only for 2 turns, but still better than nothing. And also, for her second skill, she deals 200% to all enemies, 50% chance to burn, and resets the first skill. For Awaken skill, it is a passive. She decreases physical damage taken and also increases crit rate of all allies by 20%. And I think her Awaken passive is actually one of the best things about her. So for her jewels, I given her increased Awakening gauge, survive on 1 HP and block rate. For her traits, I given her silence resist, sleep resist, and over here I decided that I'm gonna change and give her increased skill use chance, so there's more skill use and she can get her Awaken skill up much faster. You realize that I didn't give her the jewel because I felt that the other jewels are more crucial for her. So for weapons, I've given her double crit to increase her crit rate because I'm actually using Fenrir on my team, and for her armor, I've given her double block. So you'll see she has 91% block rate, which is very high. She starts off the match with response to crisis. This is the skill that burns. You realize that burn is something that is also not resisted by many people because Wukong also has burn, but you see Wukong landing the burn almost all the time. So burn is a pretty good status here. Unfortunately, she gets electrified in this particular match, so I'm not sure if we get to see more of her in future. But just to say, I feel that both her skills are very good because both her skills have CC status effects that, are not really resisted by the enemy. Unfortunately, the enemy here got paralyzed, which is very rare because I was thinking usually people would have paralysis immunity, but it is what it is. Anyway, I think they healed up from that. So yeah, I think it's also very ingenious that one of her skills resets the other one. I think the burn one actually resets the one for the stun, which is very good. So if you are very lucky, she can actually stun the enemy almost 2 times consecutively, which can benefit you greatly, which means a longer locking period for you if the enemies do not have stun resistance. And of course, the reason why I'm using her in this team and not a universal team is because of her status effects. The reason why I have Freya here is to reduce the status effect resistance of the enemy with her skill, and hopefully this will compensate for the lower percentage from Amelia's skills because she can only have 50% chance to do the status effects. Of course, I've given her Fighter Soul as well, so that will increase it even more. Here she lands the burn again first, and as you can see, the burn is already chipping off the enemy's HP whenever I use a skill, immediately after you use the skill in fact. Yeah, so as I was saying, this team relies a lot on CC, but not just on CC because, as you know, Amelia has increased her critical rate by 20% from her Awaken skill, Awaken passive. So that's actually another goal that I have, to balance out the crit and lethal rates of my heroes, and that's why I am using Fenrir instead of Rosie, because usually for a magic team you will use Rosie, but I'm using Fenrir to really boost the lethal rate to a very high amount to complement with the crit rates of my heroes, which are derived from Amelia and their weapons. So they all have about 70 to 80% crit when Amelia's Awaken skill comes up, and with Fenrir that's also about 50 or 60% lethal, which is all very high. And I'm hoping that through that I can make up for having an Awakened unit on my team, which means overall lesser stats and lesser damage output, but hopefully with the high crit and lethal rate I can deal more damage to overcome that. And I remember this battle. Okay, so you realize that Amelia didn't do much in this battle. She did not actually have a awakened skill up, and in fact if you were to rewind and watch it again, you will realize that the Dylan's was countering a lot still. I'm not sure what percentage counter rate the Dylan's has, but you know, there was a lot of counter, and Amelia reducing 20% didn't really work for me here. And I particularly wanted to put this match because I wanted to show how crazy Sage is, to the point whereby Rudy with his shield didn't matter because Rudy died to poison. And it was very interesting for me because I thought my Sage was done for, but my Sage actually stood there like a rock. Okay, moving back to Amelia, we are going to see her do more stuff very soon. I think in this battle she actually uses a stun. And yes, she does. This is actually a 3-man stun. She stunned 3 enemies, which is perfect for me because I don't really expect her to stun all 4. Of course that's a bonus, but stunning 3 is already very good. Over here I land the bleed, so there's a bleed, blind and stun all on the enemies already. You will realize that I kind of render them pretty useless. The blind stops all the countering itself. Maybe that is kind of countering her passive because it doesn't really work together. But you see that her crit rate is up, and Sage actually landed all crit and lethals with his previous attack. And I would credit Amelia for helping Sage with that. And with his awakened skill now, let's see the damage. Basically a very good wipeout. And I'm very amazed that my Amelia is still there at 1 HP. She's pretty much almost there, and she completely evaded this with her 20% evasion. I mean, she is still hanging on there. It's super amazing. And as long as she hangs on there, she has 20% crit rate increase for my entire team. Just bear that in mind. And also one more thing, why is she good in this team with Freya is because Freya increases crit damage. Oh, Wonyohi completely missed her there. Didn't even touch her. Yeah, as I was saying, Freya increases allies crit damage by 50%. So this goes in again very well with Amelia because I think Freya and Amelia actually work very well together. They not only help each other with statuses, they also help each other with crit rate and crit damage for the entire team. So I think it's just superb. Again, there was no countering, you realize? There was no counter from the enemy side. So hopefully, I'm actually hoping that 20% helped me. This stun goes through, stun all 4 enemies. That is, quite a feat. Unfortunately, they cleansed it at turn 4 because I think they all have the Celestial Purification. But as you can see, even Amelia hits pretty hard, right? And the Burn took off a huge percentage of HP from the enemy as well. Unfortunately, my Amelia is down to 1 HP again. So you see the survive on 1 HP duo is especially important for her because you want her to stay on for a little while longer. And thank you to Dylan's who completely didn't target her because his attack I think only hits the 3 enemies with the highest attack. So that's great. And we are really down to Yonhee here, with Amelia still living, unfortunately dying here, but it's okay. I think she has done her job really well. I didn't see much countering in this match actually. And here, I think, yes, I was very unfortunate I missed. Otherwise I could have won, but the poison came through and killed off Yonhee. So a lot of passive effects from Amelia basically. Even if she doesn't move, she's still pretty useful. And if she does move, even better, because she not only does residual damage with burn, she can also have CC lock with stun. So I think overall her skill set is pretty good. But do remember that she was remade once earlier this year by Death Kagura. So I think that explains her more updated skill set compared to a lot of other hidden masters. So this is actually a match where I took very little time to kill off the enemy, and Amelia comes in right here and stuns both Colt and Dylan's. Talk about clutch. It's crazy. They healed up though at turn 5. I think their Celestial Purification is only at level 4. Nonetheless, we do have our Awaken passive up, so this is gonna increase my crit rate. Let's look at Fenrir's damage. Very high. It is also, of course, thanks to the crit damage increase from Freya, so everything just goes well. Now this match is one that I can say that I also credit to Amelia because of her crit rate, and I will show you guys why later. So Sage landing the poison here is very crucial because his Awaken skill later on is gonna be very important. Unfortunately, he gets electrified by Amelia. I'm super annoyed with Amelia these days. They just are so annoying. Here's the stun goes through again. Unfortunately, it doesn't stun Amelia, and in fact Amelia comes back and electrifies my Amelia. That's very unfortunate because I can't see much from Amelia now. But hopefully you see, even if Amelia gets stunned, gets electrified, it doesn't matter because as long as she gets hit, she will get her Awaken skill up like now. So it really doesn't matter, it's a passive. And that's why I feel that it's so easy to use her even for newer players. And in fact, all new players should have an Amelia which was given out for free when you just logged into the game. Here, look at Sage's damage. He just slayed through the entire enemy team. And I think that was also partially due to the crit rate that Amelia boosted. And not only that, there was also additional poison damage because most of the enemies were also poisoned. So I think it was really a win-win here. And my Amelia is still almost at full health. The block really helps, I feel, because having that high amount of block rate, you know, she takes very little damage. And just in case you guys have not realized, she is a universal hero and not a magic hero. I'm hoping for Amelia comeback here, but I really think it's not gonna happen because she's still electrified. And hopefully Fenrir takes the kill here. And yes, he does. So Amelia really helps your team to have a more consistent damage output because she increases the crit rate, and she also has very good status effects on her skill set, and she also has a chance to reduce counter rate, which is very useful right now in the meta. So let me know what you guys think after watching her in action. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more videos coming your way. Thank you so much and see you!